I'm pulling a 395, one of the lowest scores I've ever seen.
I don't know how I feel talking to a truck driver in the shower about a car.
I blew all my savings, put a bunch of money on my credit card.
We're going to start it off with one of the lowest credit scores we've seen on the channel. And you already know what he's trying to buy. Also credit card debt and people trying to dig their way out. And a few more clips. It's debt, debt, and more debt.
Hey, bro, this is Darian from J Auto.
Hey, how's it going?
Real quick, I was checking your credit score. Sometimes when you run it, it can drop a few points.
Yeah, I saw it drop like 6 points, I think. I'm seeing like 423 or 424.
On my end, I'm pulling a 395, which honestly is one of the lowest scores I've ever seen. You're putting down $500?
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure that for that BMW, I sent it to my friend. He was supposedly going to help me with the credit.
There is so much wrong with this situation. From the credit itself to almost no down payment to trying to buy a luxury car. And of course, it's always a BMW for some reason. And if that's not bad enough, he's considering a friend for a cosign. That is a perfect way to ruin a friendship. I understand some people will do it for family, but for anyone else, it's just a horrible idea.
What he told me was that I should try first under my name. If that doesn't work, then he's going to try.
Depending on his credit file, he could probably get approved. Even with the mid 500 financing, like an $18,000 car, still needs to put down like at least $1,500 to $2,000 down just to cover like tax, title, and fees. You live in Florida or Washington, D.C.? Because I see that you have a D.C. number and address.
No, yeah, I live in Florida. I just have a DC number.
I gotcha. I really want to help you out, but I'm also going to keep it real with you. If you have $500 cash, I'm going to recommend you grabbing one of our cheaper cars.
I'd recommend he doesn't get one of their cars. He's in a really bad spot financially. Terrible credit, no money, nothing to work with. If he somehow is able to finance it on his own, he's going to get slammed with an extremely high interest rate. If he tries to get a lower rate by having a friend cosign, there is a huge chance he's not going to be able to make those payments. His credit score basically tells the whole story.
I'm checking our website here. I'm seeing like Mazdas, Toyotas, maybe some Hondas. We can definitely get you one of those with $500 down. But with like a 395 credit, I immediately see you got a lot of delinquent stuff showing up, brother.
I know, man, I know.
Let's try to make some smart decisions, all right? Let's try to do in-house financing. You can rebuild your credit, and in the next 6 months, maybe to a year, you can come back, see if we can get you refinanced so we don't stress you out, because you're going to get some really high payments if we try doing that BMW.
Damn, bro, but I really want that BMW. I really don't want to wait that long, but...
This guy is a perfect example of someone who needs to buy a car cash. A beater, something cheap. No payments, just insurance, maintenance, and repairs. Really, with his history, even that's going to be challenging enough. Once you start missing payments and you're in that cycle, it's incredibly hard to climb back out.
I know I had a lease before, and I couldn't afford the payments, so bank repoed it. That was like a month or two ago.
That's definitely going to hit your credit heavy. That's probably why we have such a low credit score. If you absolutely must have this BMW and you're like insisting on it, you're looking to putting it down like at least around $5,000 down. Right? Or you could read me a strong cosigner and we can work with that.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to him. Maybe I'll call you back so I can send him that credit app that you sent me.
I got you. Maybe our finance manager get back to you and I'll tell him what we talked about today.
Alrighty, thank you, brother.
Alright, perfect. I'll talk to you soon, man.
And it gets worse. He had a repo just a few months ago. At this point, it doesn't even matter what the payment was on the previous car. He just can't afford to finance another one. If I were in his position, knowing what I know now, I'd be taking public transportation until I got caught up, tackled the debt, and saved up enough to buy something cheap with cash. He also needs to start learning the basics of personal finance. Understanding debt, budgeting, saving, and eventually investing. That is the only way he's going to get out of this cycle.
Silverado LT?
Yes.
You have an $82,000 loan on it?
Yes.
How much do you want to close a deal?
I really have no idea, man. It was my first experience buying a pickup truck. I made a mistake.
Sounds like you did, unfortunately, my man.
Yeah.
Can't hear you.
I'm in the shower, man.
You're in the shower?
Yeah.
That's a weird time to have a conversation. I don't know how I feel talking to a truck driver in the shower about a car. It doesn't feel right. If you want, give me a call after when you're wearing some clothes and we can have a conversation.
Okay, thank you.
Remember, lather, shampoo, and repeat.
Okay.
Rinse and repeat.
Okay.
Have a good one. Bye.
Yeah.
I just had to include this one because I thought it was funny. The price of the truck, not so much. The price is in Canadian dollars, and in Canada, it is extremely expensive to live right now. Jobs are difficult to find. Businesses are closing all the time. A lot are moving to the US because they can actually make a profit there. Major layoffs seem like they're being announced daily. And people are stuck with these massive car or truck payments that they can't afford.
You ever borrow money from family or friends or?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, How much? How often?
Not much and not often.
I have to note that you borrow from your mom once every paycheck. You lie or... Yeah, I asked that question as a lead on because I knew the answer. You manipulate him. You're not going to manipulate me. I've been in too many of these conversations. Okay? You borrow from your mother every paycheck. Why lie to me?
I thought we were just talking about friends. Okay, yes. If we were talking about friends and family, yes, I do borrow from my mom once every paycheck.
That's insane!
So she's lying about her debt. It's counterproductive to go on a show that's supposed to be helping you with your debt, but then lie about what you're doing. The numbers are the numbers. You need them all. If you're hiding certain loans and pretending they don't exist, it's only going to delay any solution you're working towards. I see it quite a bit in videos like this. People calculate their debts but leave out things like car loans and money they borrowed from family.
So I moved to New York last spring and decided, you know what, I'm going to have the best summer ever because my life just sucked in 2022. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy myself. So I did. I blew all my savings, put a bunch of money on my credit card, and yeah, the summer ended and I was $10,000 in debt. And with my salary alone, there's no way I was going to be able to pay that off. Especially living in New York, my rent is $2,500. So I needed another job. Ended up getting a serving job, which I absolutely love.
So this girl actually went into debt just to have a good time because her life sucked. I get wanting a break. Everyone needs that sometimes. But going into debt to escape your problems doesn't fix anything. It just gives you a temporary distraction and a bill that's going to stick around for a long time. It's going to make all those problems you had even worse.
And I love my 9-to-5 too. I feel very, very lucky for the people that I work for and the job that I get to do. And I also got a side hustle around the same time as I got the restaurant job. It is stressful managing 3 jobs, but honestly, having $10,000 in debt is more stressful. So yeah, I spent 4.5 months just working my ass off. But everyone in New York is working their ass off. And now I still have those jobs and I am trying to save money.
So she ended up having to take on 3 jobs just to pay off the debt she took on. And that's what happens when you spend money you don't have. It's nice she didn't stop when the debt was gone. She kept the jobs, kept the momentum, and now she's actually working towards saving. She's broken that debt cycle and paid it off, and hopefully she'll never end up in that situation again.
I'm 30 years old. I have no money in savings and $25,000 in credit card debt. So I listed out my 2 paychecks and then all of my fixed expenses, the things that I absolutely know are coming out of my account every single month. And I'm actually very surprised by how much money I have left over at the end of each month. I've received both my paychecks and all of my fixed expenses have come out of that. I actually have like $2,000 left a month.
I think one of the biggest things people need to do is actually take a look into their spending. Not guessing, not hoping, actually sitting down and looking where every dollar is going. You can't fix something you won't look at. When you know where your money is going, you can control it. And once you control it, you can actually start saving, paying off debt, and actually getting ahead.
Crazy to like wrap my mind around how those $2,000 were going to things like meals and entertainment and shopping and makeup and all of these things, non-essential things, when this whole time they could have been going to paying off my debt. I intentionally stopped using my credit cards last year. I put them in a safe and stopped using them, although they were still linked to a couple of things, so I did accrue some more balances. Last year I started the year off with $30,000 in credit card debt, and so now I'm at $24,000. So I've paid off about $6,000 of that this past year, and that was just with putting all of my credit cards in a safe and paying the minimum monthly payment.
I think for most people, it's actually really shocking when you go back and look at your spending. Check a few months worth. Add up all the stuff you bought but didn't need. I'll bet the number is a lot higher than expected. And that's the point. You can't see the problem unless you look at it on paper. Once you do, it becomes a lot easier to cut things out.
And then every once in a while, I would like pay extra here or there. But there was no strategy. There was no method. The fact that I've been spending all of this money when I could have been allocating all of that to savings and my credit cards. And so now that I see this, I've mapped it all out. I've been putting a spreadsheet together. I'm calling it my ADHD money helper. If I'm calculating all of this correctly, I should be able to comfortably $2,000 for getting my emergency fund built up, doing an extra payment on my higher interest credit cards, getting a short-term savings account. We have a wedding that we're going to in Mexico in October, and it's gonna be spendy, so gotta save up money for that. And I also wanna assign some of that money to a fun fund.
Now she's actually planning everything out with her spending, and that's a huge shift from where she started. Instead of buying things in the moment and dealing with the consequences later, she's thinking ahead, budgeting, and making sure every dollar has a purpose. That is how you get out of and stay out of debt.
The most aggressively marketed product in the United States today is debt. Debt is sold as a product more aggressively, more sophistication, more money, more bandwidth is spent selling you folks debt because it's so profitable than any other product. I mean, you think you've seen a Chevy Silverado run through a mud puddle on every football program for the last 20 years, and you think Chevy spends money on that? It's nothing compared to what Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and your local bank, they spend money convincing you, and they've convinced an entire culture generationally that the only way to prosper, the only way to get what I need is to go to the bank.
Credit card companies and financial institutions spend a ton of money trying to get you to borrow. It's their entire business model. They want you swiping, financing, tapping, taking out loans, because the more you owe, the more they make. They're not your friends, and they're definitely not trying to help you build your credit. They want you in debt, paying interest, and stuck in that cycle. I'm going to end the video here and ask you to hit that like and subscribe button, drop a comment below. We'll see you in the next one.